this evening. I'm going to begin with the land acknowledgement. As we gather this evening, we pause to remember that in this province, we live and work on lands that are by law the unceded territories of the Wabanaki peoples, predominantly the land of the Mi'kmaq. May we live with respect on this land and live in peace and friendship with its people. We also recognize the African Nova Scotians whose culture, heritage, and history have been and remain a key part of our province for more than 400 years. I'm going to start with a presentation this evening. Food cycles. Approval of the agenda. Sorry. Ask for a motion to approve the agenda, please.
So moved.
Moved by Councillor McDonald, seconded by Councillor McKenna. All in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carried. Now we're going to move on to our presentation. Food cycle science. We have a special guest with us this evening, Maddie Frum, and Maddie's online. So there you are. Take it away, Maddie.
Hi, thank you so much. Can you hear me okay?
Yep.
Perfect. I'm sharing my screen now. Here. Okay, hopefully you can see that. Good evening, Mayor, members of council and staff. Thank you so much for having me. My name is Maddie Frum. I'm the Municipal Partnerships Representative at Food Cycle Science. And this evening I'm going to be presenting a food waste program for the town of New Glasgow. So before I dive into my presentation, I do want to add that I'm aware that your community has your waste managed by Pictou County, and through them you have organic conversion taking place. So the program I'm presenting aims just to complement this existing program, making diverting organic waste easier. So Food Cycle Science is a Canadian company. We're based in Ottawa and we're 100% focused on food waste diversion solutions. And we do that by using our innovative technology called the Food Cycler. So our in-home food waste recycler is sold direct to consumers, to businesses, to classrooms, through partnerships with not-for-profit organizations, and then to municipalities like yours through our Food Cycler Municipal Solutions Division. And this is the area that we're focusing on today. We've partnered with more than 150 Canadian municipalities. You'll find us in rural and remote areas, all the way to highly populated cities. And unfortunately, we have yet to partner with the community in Nova Scotia. So if you did end up partnering with us, it would be really exciting and you'd be leading the charge for your province. So the communities that do partner with us, they have the same thing in common. They understand that there's an issue and food waste ends up in the landfill, and they've decided to do their part to find a solution to ensure that a lasting difference is made. Now, I know you're all well aware of the problem with food waste, so I'll just recap it quickly. Namely, food waste is avoidable. It accounts for about half of our household waste, and it's made with liquid, which is really heavy to truck around, and then it freezes in the winter, causing another host of problems. But on top of this, the issue most of all is that food waste in the landfill produces the greenhouse gas methane. So these factors together make it that food waste is a problem that has a really strong municipal impact. One of the impacts to municipalities is that with food waste making up such a large portion of our waste stream, it causes the landfill to fill up quickly. And as you are likely aware, managing waste is very expensive, especially when there's a green bin investment in place. And when these services are improperly used, the costs do just add up unnecessarily. Then the environmental impact is, as mentioned, when organic waste ends up in the landfill, it produces the greenhouse gas methane, which is 25 times more harmful than CO2. So the reason for this is because the landfill is an environment that is without oxygen, and for food waste to properly break down, it needs oxygen, and when it doesn't have it, it produces methane. And then in the community, food waste in your garbage or even in the green bin, it causes odors, which isn't nice for us, of course, but it's really interesting for animals like bears, raccoons, and other vermin who love to rummage through our trash. So if we can remove food waste from the garbage or make sure that it's properly taken care of and disposed of, we're going to be eliminating these issues. Now, we often get asked, how can we solve this already? And yes, so there's a few solutions. There's green bins, which you have, and that's great. But we're seeing across the country that green bin programs are struggling to get above a 40 to 60% participation rate, meaning that a lot of organics are still unfortunately ending up in the landfill. There's also the ick factor associated with green bins. It gets smelly, it attracts maggots, bugs, other vermin, and then, in the winter it freezes, piling up and becoming a challenge to deal with. And while there are some troubleshooting solutions for these problems, sometimes even these are enough to deter residents from consistently using their green bin. And then people in your community might backyard compost. I'm sure we all agree this is the ideal solution, but unfortunately, backyard composting still has its challenges. It's not feasible for everybody depending on living situation, and there's still the concern about bears and other animals getting into it. And then finally, the last, not necessarily solution, but the last option would be to continue putting food waste into the landfill, but as I mentioned, the long-term impacts are costly and harmful to the environment. So we've proposed a new way to manage our food waste. Essentially, we built a small kitchen appliance. It's roughly the same size as an air fryer. Really straightforward to use. You put your food waste into this machine, you push a button, and then in a matter of hours, you're left with a dry, sterile, odorless, and nutrient-rich soil amendment. It handles all types of food waste, and that includes meat, poultry, fish, dairy, most bones, and pits. And this is great because these are foods that are sometimes recommended not to put into a green bin or a composter. The machine can be used anywhere with a plug. Most people will keep it in their kitchen for convenience reasons, but you can put it in a basement or a heated garage. And then each cycle takes about 4 to 8 hours to complete, so an overnight cycle. And it uses about 1 kilowatt hour of power, which would cost about 11 cents. And then that resulting soil amendment, you're left with at the end, has many beneficial uses, and I'll touch on that in a few slides. But yeah, it's sterile, so it will store indefinitely. Most people will keep it in a bin in their garage until they're ready to use it in the summer. So here's a look at the two units we would recommend for your municipality. So the difference between the two really just comes down to capacity and unit size. So the Eco 3 holds 3.5 liters of food waste and is designed for smaller spaces or families. And the Eco 5 holds 5 liters of food waste and is better for people who have larger families or just produce more food waste. Both machines have a carbon filter that will eliminate smell when further in the process, but it's important to know if you're keeping this somewhere like a basement or a heated garage, you're not going to be noticing the smells. You don't need to worry about maintaining your carbon filter, and the machine will work just fine without it. So I like to show this image because it's a really good depiction of the reduction in volume you see when you run the food cycler. So one cycle will achieve a reduction in volume up to 90%, leaving you with about 100 to 200 grams of that soil amendment, just depending on how much food waste is in there to begin with. Now, the byproduct created, so this soil amendment, is completely dry and it's an inert biomass, has many uses. So most people will use it to fertilize their garden soil right at home, but it integrates well into any type of composting system. So backyard composters, weed and yard waste systems, you could drop it off at a compost site or a local farm, community garden. But in your situation, residents would most likely just be putting their soil amendment into their green bin and having it go to the compost facility in the county. So from an environmental standpoint, over its lifetime, the food cycle is actually a net negative carbon consumption. And what that means, it's similar to using solar panels or planting trees. When you use the food cycle to avoid bringing food waste to the landfill, you're actually avoiding more greenhouse gases than you created in that entire process. The same can't be said for other municipal operations like a waste facility or collection service, which do create emissions at every step. But really, it's just nice to know that you're using a product that is doing something better for the environment, and we have not greenwashed it, essentially. And that's very important to me and other people in the community these days. So in addition to the environmental impact, the traditional method of managing waste is a heavy burden system with unrelenting costs from trucking, labor, and maintenance. But the food cycler offers a decentralized approach that will avoid unnecessary additional costs and greenhouse gas emissions from trucking and improper food waste breakdown, and then infrastructure costs to the municipality or the residents. One thing we've learned from working with so many municipalities is that residents are really interested in being part of the solution. They want to try new things, they want options, and they really like it when their government brings these options to their community. And with the food cycler, that's what you get to do. You're bringing something that's innovative and tangible to residents. And since food waste accounts for such a large portion of household waste, it's, as you know, the single most impactful strategy to achieving food waste purchase targets. So our pilot project. The results from our municipal pilot project have been overwhelmingly positive. We're able to achieve a 98% participation rate. We have a user experience rating of 4.6 out of 5 stars, and we're seeing a significant amount of net new waste diversion. So approximately 300 kilograms per household per year is being diverted using the food cycle. After seeing how well the pilot project goes in many of our municipalities, they decide that they want to expand the program and add a second round or more households to the project. So in Nelson, BC, for example, they ran 2 successful pilot programs, and they since decided to put a food cycler in every home of the city of 11,000 people. So the municipal program starts with an initial 12-week pilot phase to test the solution in your community. Residents will purchase a food cycler at a subsidized rate from the municipality. They use their unit, they track the number of cycles per week. Then at the end, we ask that they complete a brief survey so we can evaluate the program's success in a fuller way, and then we present those results back to you in a final report or feasibility study. At that point, we would work with staff to talk about next steps and how we can best create a program that would work for your community if that's something that you're interested in. So the pilot program work with subsidy model, as I mentioned, and how it works is we at Food Cycle Science reduce the retail price by 50%. We then ask that municipalities subsidize the cost by $100 per household, and then participating residents choose which food cycler model best suits their needs, and they contribute that remaining amount. So Amigo 3 ends up being $200, and Amigo 5 is $300. And then at the end of this program, 12 weeks, the food cycler is there to keep using, so they're going to be seeing the benefits for a long while. So here I have some pilot size recommendations. So for the initial pilot for your community, I would recommend 1 household. This would provide us with lots of great data to support any future waste management decision making. So if the subsidy is $100 per household, a pilot size of 100 households would require an investment of $10,000 plus the cost of shipping and taxes. But this is just a recommendation. If you're interested in the program, we're always open to working with you to figure out a pilot size that's better for your needs and your budget. So lastly, here are some reasons that may resonate with you if you consider whether you should pilot with us. So the first is that you have the opportunity to trial this technology at well below market rates. The next is that you'll be able to see some immediate and impactful benefits like increased waste diversion, increased green bin participation, and reduced greenhouse gas emissions. But overall, you're able to provide your constituents with a low-cost municipal service while being a steward for the environment. And then you also gain some recognition as a climate leader in your community, which is awesome. So I welcome the town of New Glasgow as a partner in the fight against food waste, as I believe your community is a great fit for the Best Success program. Today, all I ask is you receive my presentation of information, and should there be any interest in partnering with us on a funded pilot program, that you refer to that for a report and recommendation. So thank you so much for your time. I am here to answer questions, and I'll stop sharing my screen.
Thank you, Maddie. Are there any questions from council? Councillor McKenna.
Thank you, Maddie. One question. Are the food cyclers a Canadian-made product?
Thank you for your question. So the food cyclers are manufactured in China. We do all of the engineering, design, and research here in Canada, and then manufactured in China. They are shipped over here. One day we would love to have them manufactured in Canada, but right now that's not the reality. So hopefully soon, but for now.
Thank you.
Any other questions by council? Councillor Peters.
Thank you, Your Worship. Hi, Maddie. It's Dawn Peters here. I just have a question for you about the, you had said that, just wanted to make sure this is correct, that 1 ton of food waste is equivalent to 1 car on the road for a year. Is that what you said?
Yes, that's the stat that I have on my slides. So it's about, if we took 1 ton of food waste out of the waste stream, it's roughly the same as taking 1 car off the road for an entire year.
Okay, thank you.
Any further questions? Just one thing I wanted to ask Maddie. This is our solid waste is a shared services. We share the service with our other 5 other municipalities. Sorry. So just wondering if the presentation is being done to our neighbors, with our neighbors.
Thank you for the question and noting that. I haven't scheduled any delegation for neighbors, but I'm happy to do that, and I will reach out after this to see if they're interested in learning more.
Great, thank you. And one more question from Councillor Peters.
Hi, Maddie. Sorry, I have one more question. Have there been any safety issues, like with children, or like that blade looked pretty deadly?
Thank you for the question. So we have not had any safety issues. We do have warnings on the products, like you should not be putting your hands into the food cycler. We have a brush that you can use to clean out the food cycler if something gets stuck, but yeah, we have not had any safety issues, so positive.
Thank you.
Okay. Maddie, on behalf of council, I'd like to thank you very much for your presentation. Nice to see new innovative technology happening around our climate adaptation and mitigation. So that's really important for us. So thank you for that, and reach out to our neighbors.
Amazing. Thank you so much for having me. I really appreciate your time, and I hope you have a great rest of your meeting.
Thank you. Bye-bye. Okay, moving on from food waste to something very important. We have a very special presentation this evening, and I'm going to ask, oh gosh, just want to say, what?
Alan Jeff.
Yeah, I know. I get these corporal constable things mixed up. Corporal Alan Chabasal to come up along with Chief Legal. Thanks, Alan. Watch yourself. So this is a very special recognition of Alan, and I wanted to present this on behalf of the town of Glasgow and Ryan Sullivan also. The town of Glasgow salutes and commends Corporal Alan Chabasal in recognition of being awarded the Federal Police Exemplary Service Medal for outstanding dedication, commitment, and service to the protection and safety of the town. So I'll go on the other side. That'll help. Oh yeah, that's true. Oh, you want to come in the picture? Thinking about that. Try to look at the words.
Interesting factors. So the connection to myself. So I've had the privilege of working on and this medal is it's not just a recognition of service, it's exemplary service, and Alan is exemplified that really through his dedication. Obviously, he's SEO formal supervisor within our organization, and tremendous leadership skills, and being a young service, relying on people like Alan has been something that we really look forward to. He's a great mentor, great leader, and my privilege to work with Alan for last year. So congratulations, Alan.
All of your career. Wonderful, wonderful. Thank you very, very much.
Thanks. It's families and spouses.
We're
We should clap for her.
Okay, we're going to move right along to the approval of the consent agenda. That's the minutes of the meetings held on March 17th, as well as 11 proclamations.
So moved, your worship.
Moved by Councillor McDonald,
I'll second that.
seconded by Councillor Peters. All in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carried. On to the approval of the reports. The Committee of the Whole report.
Yes, your worship, I'll move that we accept the committee of the whole report as submitted.
Moved by Councillor Joe McDonald, seconded by Councillor Fraser. Any questions on the motion? All in favor signify by saying aye. Opposed? Motion carried. The Finance report.
Yes, your worship, I would move that we accept the finance report as circulated.
Moved by Councillor Fraser,
I second that.
seconded by Councillor McKenna. Any questions on the motion? All in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carried. The Engineering and Public Works report.
Yes, your worship, I'll motion that we accept the engineering and public works report as submitted.
Moved by Councillor Joe McDonald,
I'll second it.
seconded by Councillor Jessica McDonald. Any questions on the motion? All in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carried. The Solid Waste report.
Yes, your worship, I move the adoption of the solid waste report.
Moved by Councillor McKenna,
I'll second that.
seconded by Councillor Joe McDonald. Any questions on the motion? All in favor signify by saying aye.
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 Opposed? Motion carried. The Police report.
Yes, your worship, I'll motion that we accept the police report as submitted by the chief.
Moved by Councillor Joe McDonald,
I'll second that.
seconded by Councillor Jessica McDonald. Any questions on the motion? Just one comment, Chief Leo. I just noticed that, and I keep on talking about the community policing officer or downtown policing officer, and you mentioned that they're going to have an open house in May. Right. Yes, yeah, great idea. Excellent. Great, thank you. Councillor Peters.
Yes, your worship, thank you. I just have a question for Chief Leo. When you were reading the survey on the municipal police agencies, the What We Heard report, do you feel it is reflective of what is happening in New Glasgow?
Peters, thanks for the question. Absolutely. So we had that conversation today. And, it's very, first seen the report, it's very confident. It's validated a lot of issues that we felt for development. Also, growing the hospitals. So not only the issues that are on this, they are very relevant to Glasgow, but hospitals as well. So it's really nice to see them.
And we submitted a very detailed letter based on the content that was provided by council. So it was nice to see that reflected for sure.
Thank you, Chief Leo.
Your worship, I have
Yeah,
a
go
question
ahead.
also.
Yeah.
For Chief Leo, I'm just wondering if we should have some type of notification for the downtown businesses. Maybe we could work with the Director of Community Development to maybe get a newsletter or a notice or something put out to them for the open house, because the whole idea behind the community policing officer downtown is for them, the downtown core, and maybe it's just something we could work on.
Also wants to identify dates, part of that will be information strategy, or that will be on the background for. So we'll identify, likely most of the traditional vacation that we use as well.
Yeah, no, that'd be great, and I'd be remiss if I didn't mention our downtown bylaw officer also.
Thanks very much. Any further questions? One more. Oh, no, I mean,
I just wanted to say congratulations on the successful completion of the sponsored seat program of the Atlantic Police Academy and the hiring of Carmela Desmond to the Glasgow Regional Police.
Thank you, Councilor Peters. I nearly mistaken you to do that. This report. Yes.
thank you. Any further questions? All in favor signify by saying aye. Opposed? Motion carried. The Business Development Officer, Community Development Report.
I move to accept the community development report.
Moved by Councillor Jessica McDonald,
I'll second that.
seconded by Councillor Peters. Any questions on the motion? All in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carried. The Business Development Officer's Report.
Yes, Your Worship, I'll motion that we accept the Business Development Officer's report.
Moved by Councillor Joe McDonald,
I'll second it.
seconded by Councillor Jessica McDonald. Are there any questions on the motion? All in favor signify by saying aye. Opposed? Motion carried. The Fire Report and Fire Inspection Report.
Yes, Your Worship, I move that we accept the fire report and fire inspection report as circulated.
I'll second that.
Moved by Councillor Peters, seconded by Councillor McKenna. Any questions on the motion? All in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carried. The Building Report.
Yes, Your Worship, I would move that we accept the building report as circulated in our package.
Moved by Councillor Fraser,
I'll second that.
seconded by Councillor McDonald. Any questions on the motion? All in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carried. Information and Technology Report.
Yes, Your Worship, I move that we accept the information technology report as circulated.
Moved by Councillor Peters,
I'll second that.
seconded by Councillor McKenna. Any questions on the motion? All in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carried. Our Human Resources and Corporate Communications Report.
Yes, Your Worship, I move the adoption of the Human Resources and Corporate Communications Report.
Moved by Councillor McKenna,
I'll second that.
seconded by Councillor Peters. Any questions on the motion? I'm just going to ask the next newsletter.
We are hoping to have it out for May.
Okay.
Preferably end of April so that we can advertise the one.
Oh, good. Okay, great. Thank you. All in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carried. Finally, our Strategic Initiatives and Projects Report.
Yes, Your Worship, I would move that we accept the strategic initiatives and project report as circulated.
Moved by
I'll sec-
Councillor Fraser,
I'll second
seconded by Councillor McDonald. Any questions on the motion? Just want to highlight, because this will be our last council meeting before,
May 6th.
yes, that's right, before May 6th. And there's been a lot of things going on, and a lot of work by the town team on getting that special launch. We're meeting as a committee on April 23rd, and with the final touches being presented then. So just hope everybody has that marked in their calendar. Thank
Your
you.
Worship, I'd like to
Yes,
ask
go
a
ahead.
question to Kim Dixon, our strategic person at the table. I'd like to get a comment or two from how you feel things are progressing, Ms. Dixon.
Thank you, Councillor Fraser.
Mike Bear Kim.
Can you hear me there?
Yeah.
Thank you, Councillor Fraser. I feel things are progressing very well. As the mayor mentioned, there's been a lot of teamwork for that, a lot of people involved, certainly wonderful citizen engagement. We will be issuing some communications about the May 6th launch so that the community is well informed. There's been a great response from partners and community organizations and events, and some very exciting things that are going to happen on the launch. And as I said, we plan to do full communications about that, and that'll just be happening within the next week or so that there'll be time for people to plan and get it in on their calendars. But yeah, it's going well. It's a lot of work, and lots more to come too in the year.
Thank you.
Any further questions by council? All in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carried. Thank you, staff, as usual, for a great job. On to motions and notices of motions. The motion to adopt policy tax exemption.
Yes, Your Worship, I'll motion that we accept the recommendation to accept the tax exemption, Paul.
Moved by Councillor Joe McDonald,
I'll second that.
seconded by Councillor McKenna. Any questions on the motion? All in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carried. Thank you. And next, the motion for the order to demolish at 154 Alexander Street.
Yes, Your Worship. Got in ahead of Dawn. Yes, I would like to happily, I'm afraid I have to say, move that we demolish 154 Alexander Street.
So I just want to clarify, you're making an order for the owner to demolish the property.
That the owner demolish the property.
I'll second that.
So moved by Councillor Fraser, seconded by Councillor Peters. Any questions on the motion? So I understand that there was no correspondence received from the owner prior to the date that was requested. Has there been any communication?
April 7th, there was a failure to provide the plan. There has been no correspondence with our bylaw enforcement officer, and there's been no correspondence with our building inspector.
Okay, good. Thank you.
30 days.
30 days. Any further questions on the motion? All in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carried. Finally, under new business, we have our accounts.
Yes, Your Worship, I would move that we pay the accounts as presented in our package.
Moved
I'll
by
second that.
Councillor Fraser, seconded by Councillor Joe McDonald. Any questions on the motion? All in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carried. Motion to adjourn before, and then
No.
we're going to move into committee. No? What did I miss?
No, the in camera.
Oh, right. Sorry.
It is the recommendation to council from the in-camera session to proceed with the watershed land purchase from Jesse and Robert McKay for 77 acres within PID number 00897231.
Yes, Your Worship, I'll motion that we accept the recommendation.
Moved by Councillor Joe McDonald,
I'll second that.
seconded by Councillor McKenna. Any further questions on the motion?
The only thing I'd say about the motion is it's very important that the town continues to protect the land around the watershed as much as we can do. And the landowners are very, very cooperative in any purchase or whenever they feel like selling, they always come to us first.
Yeah.
So it's very important for us to do
Good
that.
relationship.
It's a great, and we've written many letters to the municipality of the County of Pictou requesting the proper designations be put in place with their land use bylaw to protect that watershed, and we've yet to receive correspondence back from the county.
They are working on their municipal land use strategies. They had to extend it. So I'm hoping we'll get notice.
It is the recommendation to council.
Do we vote? Does all in favor signify by saying aye?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carried.
It is recommendation to council to proceed with the land swap transaction of PID 00934851 for the McGillivray Properties Limited subdivided parcel B of PID 65191702.
Your worship, I move the adoption of that land swap that was just mentioned.
Moved by Councillor McKenna,
I'll second that.
seconded by Councillor Jessica McDonald. Any questions on the motion? All in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carried. Now a motion to adjourn.
Motion to adjourn.
Thank you, Councillor Peters. And we'll just take a 5-minute break. Moved by Counselor Peters, seconded
Second
by
that.
Counselor Jessica McDonald. You were too late getting to your seat. All in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carried. On to matters for senior staff. We have a recommendation from our Director of Engineering and Public Works. It is recommended that a new development assistance policy be adopted to provide infrastructure development assistance funding in certain circumstances to qualified private developers and nonprofit community-based organizations that support key municipal strategies for housing and future land use development. Priority will be given to housing developments and is merit-based. Depending on the scoring, funding assistance may use a 3 to 5 year modeling analysis.
Your Worship, I'll move that we accept the recommendation from the Director of Engineering and Public Works.
Moved by Councillor Joel McDonald,
I'll second that.
seconded by Councillor Peters. Are there any questions on the motion? I'd just like to say thank you very much, Earl, for an excellent report on this and understanding that it needed to be updated and especially timely with our Housing Accelerator Fund and our work on getting more housing into our town. So thank you for that. All in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carried. Next, we have a memo from the Environment and Sustainability Lead on the Resilient Home retrofits. It's the final report, so we'll need a motion to receive.
I would move that we receive the 3B as stated here.
Moved by Councillor Fraser,
Second that.
seconded by Councillor McDonald. Are there any questions on the motion? All in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carried. Under unfinished business, we have a memo on the spring debenture, and what we're looking for is a motion to formally approve the spring debenture for general and water capital.
Yes, Your Worship.
Moved by Councillor Fraser,
Second that also.
seconded by Councillor McDonald. Are there any questions on the motion? All in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carried. Next, we're moving on to committee reports. The Pictou County Shared Service Authority update,
Motion to receive, Your Worship.
moved by Councillor Joe McDonald,
I'll second that.
seconded by Councillor Peters. Are there any questions on the motion? All in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carried. The Mayors and Warden update,
Motion to receive, Your Worship.
moved by Councillor Joe McDonald,
I'll second.
seconded by Councillor Jessica McDonald. Any questions on the motion? All in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carried. Just wanted to comment, you realize that it was mentioned in there about the working together with the other municipalities on our deer population. So hopefully that's going to happen. Do you have an update on that, Lisa? There was,
No, there's a list of things that I'm going to be sending to the other ones and convening the first meeting. So,
right, yeah, so I think that, yeah, that's sort
Yeah, they were all outlined in that
Yeah.
report.
okay. Thank you. And the Pictou County Wellness Center Business Authority update,
Motion to receive, Your Worship.
moved by Councillor Joe McDonald,
Second that.
seconded by Councillor Peters. Any questions on the motion? All in favor signify by saying aye.
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 Opposed? Motion carried. Thanks, everyone. And next. We have a request for exemption from bylaw number 20, a noise control bylaw during the sweeping and line painting of parking lots and the properties of Westside Plaza, Highland Square Mall, and Aberdeen Business Center. So you have the letter in your package. What is your wish?
Yes, Your Worship, I move that we grant them this exemption to the noise bylaw so that they can get this work done.
Thank you. Moved by Counselor Peters,
I'll second that.
seconded by Counselor Jessica McDonald. Are there any questions?
Question.
Yep, go ahead, Joe.
Yes, Your Worship. For Chief Leo and maybe Chief White, I'll start with Chief Leo. Any concerns with noise bylaw or any previous calls that you're aware of to deal with this situation?
Councilor McDonald, we received some requests in the past, and we have established process. These requests are received for the fireworks or machinery. Those types. So our department can share the information. So advise that it so, as well as all the communications between the municipality and the service, the public information allows us to get that event, so people in the area are aware that it's happening. And typically, it's minimal. I don't know what specific time frame there is, but we're get the operations for initial period of time, so
Thank you. Chief White, anything, any concerns?
Councilor Joe McDonald, there's no real conditions or issues with our government under this being allowed. We can still operate when need be. They're very obliging. We had alarms a few times in the past that in the areas when we were doing this work, and they're very helpful. So they work with us and it runs quite smoothly.
Okay, thank you. I guess I would ask the Director of Public Works if there's any concerns on his part.
Councilor McDonald, no concerns from engineering. This line painting and sweeping doesn't generate that much sound, and it has to be done overnight for their business operations. So I support it.
Thank you.
Thank you. Am I correct in saying that the exemption is given for the dates indicated here, so it's perhaps a 3-week period? Okay, all in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carried. Next, we have a request from the Festival of the Tartans Committee.
Yes, Your Worship. Can we defer this to budget?
Yes, that's what yeah.
Thank you.
To refer to budget. Okay.
I'll second that.
Moved by Counselor Joe McDonald, seconded by Counselor Peters. All in favor signify by saying aye.
I have a question, Your Worship.
Oh, sorry. Go ahead.
That's okay. For the Director of Corporate Services there, I believe that amount is the traditional amount of the history that we've.
No,
No?
less. Well, they haven't had it for the last couple of years, but the original allotment that's been provided by the town historically has been 10,000, but that was unrealistic for it to be sustained because that was the only event that we were supporting with cash to that caliber. So there was a plan when it was still operating to wean it down. So they had moved to the $7,500 mark, and they've operated with that for several years, and that was the last amount that was provided while they were operating, and this request is for 5,000.
Okay, I'm good with that.
Okay, any further questions? All in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carried. And next, we have a letter of request from Pictou Landing First Nation.
I'll refer to.
Motion to receive, Your Worship.
To refer
To refer to the budget.
budget consider deliberations, right? Okay, moved by Counselor McKenna. Seconded by Counselor Fraser. Any question on the motion? All in, yeah, go ahead.
Would it be helpful for someone to contact them and see what would be most beneficial as far as?
That was the intention.
Okay, good, thank you. Any further questions? All in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carried. Under new business, the volunteer award recipients for 2025. The reception will be held on April 29th, and the list of volunteers is in your package. So a motion to receive.
Motion to receive, your worship.
Moved by Councillor Joe McDonald,
I'll second that.
seconded by Councillor Peters. Any questions on the motion? Go ahead.
What time is that starting?
I believe that the calendar invite has already been sent to you.
I was just asking because Jim just asked.
Can we quickly look at the calendar invite?
6 o'clock.
6, yeah.
You still got to vote on it.
Is that okay? Is that 6 o'clock okay with you, Jim?
Yeah.
Thank you. All in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carried. Thanks, everyone. We're going to move to in camera.
I need Earl and Ryan.
Would it be okay if Chief White stays for the in camera for the one?
I don't, no, we don't need, I just need Earl and Ryan.